to be that guy.
Or with Wayne coming in, I know he's the #1 guy, but how long of a leash is that? Is it a long leash? And can one of those other guys overtake him?
You know, I thought coming out of spring, I thought Zach made some strides. He had some really, really good practices, and he really pushed Wayne. So I wouldn't say the leash is very long, but it's going to be up to Wayne. I think Wayne still has a lot of ceiling left, a lot of potential, being that he's the one guy that didn't play running back his entire life. So he's still learning every day, and really the leash is going to be determined by how far he wants to extend it. But right now, going into camp, all those guys are competing, and then I thought coming out of spring that Zach was nipping at his heels. CJ had a great spring game. Fuller was a pleasant surprise. Obviously, we knew where Choice was prior to his injury, and I'm excited for Tyshawn having an off season and getting himself back in shape to be able to compete. So,
yeah, Tyshawn's had really his first full off season. How much has he improved?
You know, if you just look at him physically, because you know we don't get to spend as much time in the summer, but just in passing, when you see him, you're starting to see his body look like how it looked in high school. He's carrying good weight. His body fat's down. He looks like he's in shape. He's walking around with a lot more confidence, and you can even see it from what the guys are telling us when he's out there running, that you're starting to see some of those flashes come back. So it's big for him and excited for him, because he's the type of young man that came in with a lot of high expectations, and now he's finally got an opportunity to compete and try and live up to those expectations.
How has C.J. Fuller responded, or C.J. Davidson responded from the season that he had last year with all of the ups and downs?
Now he's been solid. Matter of fact, I was talking to Coach Batson about him yesterday, and he said he's just been impressed with the way that he's carried himself. He's graduated, you know, so he's got that off his chest, and now he just wants to come in and he's just like all. He wants to be the guy, but he understands that when you're in a room with 6 guys, that you got to compete every day, and he wants to be there. He wants to be in that room and compete, and so he's responded well, and he understands that your character is defined in adversity, and not when you're at the top of the hill. So I've been proud of the way he's responded, and he's really pushed those guys this summer to work.
You got 2 new toys on campus, Ray and Dion. What heard about them this summer?
You know, toys that you can't play with. It's kind of like, like, you know, you got some Christmas presents, but you can't touch them yet. But it's been nothing but rave reviews on those guys. You know, and they're both competitive. You know, they'll be the kind of guys that'll put in extra work on their own. Just them two in the indoor at night by themselves working. Those guys just love to compete, and they're different, but they're going to bring something explosive to our offense. Now they got to learn. You know, they got to get in and learn the system, and for them, you know, everything has been kind of fast, because they're throwing in with the varsity guys that have been in the system, and none of the coaches are out there to slow it down. So they're still learning, but I'm excited to see what those guys can do once we get in the fall camp and we turn them loose after they get a good understanding of what we're trying to do. But everybody's high on him. I saw Ray in passing. Looks like he's put on a few pounds already. He's looking good. And then obviously Dion, man, he's pretty when he walks by you.
How have you thought about how you might use those guys this year? Because I mean, obviously you're pretty good at skill positions.
Right. You know, obviously probably start Dion at the position Mike plays. You know, because he's got that body type to play into the boundary, and just, you know, move as fast as he can learn it. And then with Ray's very dynamic and can do a lot of things. But start him, you know, where Artavis is at the receiver position, and as he continues to become comfortable with that, then you can expand his role, because he does have a running back skill set, which was his primary position in high school. So you're going to have some options with him, but the big thing is you don't want to throw too much on their plate too fast, so that you paralyze them, but just allow them to grow and develop, and then as they can absorb the responsibility, you continue to add. So start both of them, and obviously 9-man, which is our boundary position, with Dion, and then Ray to the field, the same position Artavis and Sammy play.
How's Adam recovering? How's he coming with his rehab?
I tell you what, he looks great. I mean, he physically he looks great, and then, like I said, everything that they're telling me, he's doing everything with the guys. He's moving around well. You know, the biggest thing with Adam is just making sure mentally he's where he needs to be, because he's a very, very conscientious young man who wants to do everything right. And the biggest thing with him is just to make sure that he's confident, because structurally everything's going to be fixed. And he's such a strong guy that his rehab is going to accelerate from a strength standpoint. It's just I'm anxious to see where he's at mentally once the pads come on, because they are all going to look good running around in shorts. Is when he has to take that contact. I'm anxious to see that. But every indication from the training staff and the weight staff is that he looks good.
Is the plan with him to possibly, if you can, redshirt?
You know, it's too early to determine that. You know, I think we got to see where he's at once we get him in camp before we make any decisions like that. And I don't want to put that thought in his mind. You know, I want him to come back and be ready to compete, and then we'll see where he's at once we get through the midway of camp, and then we'll make a decision.